And welcome back to another episode of Trans Voices podcast. Here we have Eli, he, they.
I'm Robin, also he, they.
Koda, they, them.
My name is Cam, they, he.
And we want to say thank you to both of you for joining our podcast. This podcast, we are going to talk about whatever comes to mind, basically. Pride related, your coming out stories. We want to know more about you. What is it that you bring back to the community and all that stuff. So we're just going to go right into it. Let's start with you, Cam. So tell us more a little bit about you and what is it that you do with Cam Hands?
So I was born and raised in Houston, in the Stafford Sugarland area, and growing up, very typical Southern Baptist Texan, very religious not very religious, but I personally was very heavily into it when I was younger, and obviously that shaped who I was at the time until graduating high school. That's when I started thinking for myself a little bit more and started to figure out who I was. Long story short, I identified first as a lesbian and then more so coming out trans after a few life-changing events. Now, I think 8-ish years ago, I'm going to say ballpark 2018 is probably, 2017, 2018 is probably when I started questioning things and then started medically transitioning. 2019, literally a month before we got together. And then with the massage thing, that's kind of always been in the back of my head. I have a retail management training background, did that for about 10 years, and wanted more of a fulfilling career instead of just the mundane retail jobs that were not fulfilling in any way, shape, or form. And always just thought that massage therapy was nice. I enjoyed getting massages at the time, and even mainly pre-transition. I was always a neck, back, shoulder client, just very basic, didn't really think much of it, but at the time, I was like, if nothing career-wise works out for me, this would be a good alternative. And it just kind of stuck with me. And even after coming out as trans, immediately I took safety into a factor as far as I'm suddenly not comfortable, even though I've been going to the same place for years. Until a month before my top surgery, I actually found a trans-affirming massage therapist. I think she's now in the Pasadena area, but that kind of solidified it for me as far as giving me a green light of okay, this is what you need to do, especially perfect timing with it being after my top surgery. And immediately from day one of school, they're always asking why are you choosing massage therapy? And selfishly, it's just because I wanted to be the massage therapist. I wish I had to make people across the board, comfortable being allowed to speak up, because I never felt comfortable speaking up to my massage therapist past I mid-level pressure, and that was about it. And also where I was hurting. But otherwise, I was always very quiet in the sessions. I was they're the professionals. They know what's best. They know what I need. They could never read my mind, because looking back on it, I was actually never really satisfied with those sessions, aside from yeah, my back feels a little bit better, but at the end of the day, I was that could have been way more detailed. And so that was my initial push for getting into massage therapy, which is just to create more of a tailored session for my clients. But then obviously with my transition, that took a bigger curve with it. And obviously that's now my focal point of working with the trans community, but also not only am I a massage therapist, I'm also a certified massage therapy instructor. And so I've also created a course on teaching other massage therapists of how to interact with trans clients, because the main thing is obviously the verbiage difference and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's we're all just people. It's the same thing. It's really just a verbiage change at the end of the day. So also just creating a good safe space for people to ask those questions that they may think, hey, I don't want to ask a too invasive question, but I'm always no, please ask it to me. At the end of the day, respectfully, I don't care. I will be that safe space to also tell you, hey, that may actually be a messed up question, or to give them some type of an answer of how to interact with the trans community. But I've been able to build my career to where now I'm in my own private studio, and to give my clients a safe space within four walls to just, whether it's they want to come in to relax, they're coming in for stress relief. I have clients that are coming into me with SA trauma, and they're trying to rebuild mind and body connection. I have some people that they are just the world is on fire right now, and even if I can just give them at least 15 minutes, upwards of 2 hours of just some time to just chill the hell out, then that's what I'm there for.
Like a moment to breathe.
Exactly. And, I have clients that are just like, hey, I want you to just rub my feet and my calves for today. Like, I've been running a lot more. Cool, I'll do that then. I have some clients that are like, this is my first massage. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm very modest. I want to stay fully clothed. That's fine too. I have clients that want to stay fully dressed. I have some clients that are okay with being nude under the sheets. But again, I do use a very tight draping technique where nothing is ever exposed. Because that's also another thing of massage therapy, is that line of what's appropriate versus what isn't appropriate. And I'm able to educate people with consultations and just getting to know them more in my sessions, because a lot of people aren't educated on massage therapy even in the first place, past, massage envy, massage heights, and all the chain spots. But it's so much more in depth than what people even think. So I like taking that approach with massage therapy, just a very unconventional route, but one that is, kind of more holistic route, but that is also empowering a safe space and just also letting it be whatever the client wants it to be in that moment. So
That's amazing that you're giving people that autonomy and creating that safe space for them. And it's the inspiration story is really cool too. That you're educating also is really amazing. But before we get into more questions about your work, I also want to ask Koda, could you introduce yourself and
yes.
what you do?
Okay, so I'm Koda. I also go by Koda Lou, and my little Instagram handle just changed to KLR Hair Artist, which is cute because it's like killer hair artist. My dad used to call me Little Killer. But no, so I have been in the hair industry for over 12 years. It's been a huge part of my life, even prior to transitioning, prior to coming out. Like, I've always been a part of the beauty industry since I dropped out of college. And I previously had married my high school sweetheart, and it's so funny how things work out because we both ended up to be trans in the end.
Wow.
But we didn't come out until after we got married, and we tried to make it work for a little while. And it's just like, after 10 years, you either grow together or you grow apart, and we were not compatible anymore. And I also, at the time, I think was pushing down being trans, just a little bit. I was like, oh, I'm pansexual and I'm definitely gay and queer, but I don't know, I'm non-binary. I don't know, if I'll ever go on hormones or whatever. And then we separated, I got divorced, and I actually met Cam online and we met up a few times as queer couples do, and I was like, I'm madly in love, I have to move to Houston now. And then COVID hit, and it was actually perfect timing because
it really was. That gas was cheap.
I had a 5-year plan to move to Houston, and it was
literally
all over.
turned into
I was
just,
like,
5
I'm just
weeks.
moving. I'm going right now because my salon shut down and I had my own business, and I contacted my clients and was like, hey, I know y'all kind of knew I was dating someone from Texas. I'm dipping out. Love you. Bye. I have recommendations for you, but I'm gonna go live my life. And it was funny, on the way here, we were just talking about how one of my old coworkers, who was one of my first queer representation in the industry, a gay man, Jason, right before I moved here, he was like, this is the biggest mistake of your life.
Oh, wow.
And looked me in the eye and was like,
Wow.
you should not move to Texas. And I was like, I'm going to do it and I'm going to prove you wrong. And I have. And I'm like,
And now has 2 awards to their name.
yeah, 2 awards to my name
Oh, yeah.
for Best Non-Binary Hair Artist in Houston, Texas from Outsmart Magazine. And then also my own little salon room inside of Hugh Hair Lounge out in Katy, Texas, which I am booked and busy. I am so proud to say I get booked out 2 months ahead of time.
Love that.
Which is amazing. It makes me sad because my regulars sometimes are like, I can't get in. And I'm like, I'm trying my best. But I don't want to burn out either because I know that's important. So, but I love, love, love having my own room because I have created such a safe space for anyone in the community, trans, queer, straight, anyone. It doesn't matter who you are, you're welcome in my chair. All textures of hair, all kinds of hair. But more than anything, my favorite thing in the world is gender affirming haircuts. That's my bread and butter. nothing makes me happier than being able to have someone walk into my room, feel so safe and like welcome and seen and heard, and be able to walk out and feel so like themselves for the first time. Whether it's like cutting everything off, dyeing it rainbow, whatever we may be. I mean, I know I've had you in my chair.
You did. You did.
And
I mean, even with my recent haircut, my hair was
your
halfway
hair
down my
journey.
back, and now it's completely gone and colored.
And bright pink.
And bright pink. Like, it's total 180.
But it's like how it makes you feel, like how, and that's genuinely at the end of the day, like I can die happy if I've made even like one person just feel so like happy with themselves and proud of themselves and able to fully be themselves and be authentic with it. So I adore that. That's my favorite thing in the world. So I'm just happy to have moved here and created that for myself and for everyone else. And I say it all the time, like I love when I get to travel places around the world like Greece, but I have to stay and be a safe space in Texas, especially right now. Like, it is so scary. And especially coming out and saying, like, I started testosterone last week and I changed my name this year. Like, I have to be the representation that we want to see.
Because that is definitely something we've contemplated about. You know, like at the end of the day, like, are we in a safe, like, for us, are we going to be safe? And I do have family, thankfully, like out in the Pacific Northwest area who have said, like, you know, if it does get bad, obviously y'all can come here. But then again, in the same breath, it's like, but we are the safe space for so many of our clients. And thankfully now, because we are in like 5-minute driving space of our studios, now we've gotten a good amount of joint clients that see us both.
That's amazing.
It is. And for y'all that wanting to do the massage first and then hair so I don't mess it up. Because I will hear that when I get out. But like that has been a conversation. But at the end of the day, it always comes back as it means more to us to be that safe space to people. So
Always.
Okay, I think our followers would love to know if you've talked to that person that you definitely proved wrong.
He died. Tragically, it was health related.
It just happens like that. It's just like you never know what's going to happen with whatever people are saying. And then it's just like, you know, and it's one of those things of like, I don't even think they really remembered that being said until just recently. And literally on the way here, they were just like, oh shit, that was said. And literally look at me now. And I'm like, yeah. Like, and I think the threat of that was like looking years later is that they were coming from small town Indiana in the cornfields versus, you know, you hear Houston when you're from a small town, you think, okay, all bright, beautiful colors, which is what they're specializing in, and vivid colors. There's obviously a lot of competition. But little did they know, they weren't even working in Houston. They were working outside of Houston. And so because Koda's located where, like, we're located in general, where we're at in Katy, kind of in central Katy, I would say, people from more out west, like Brookshire, Fulshire, and the newer development areas, they're all coming because they're like, we don't want to drive all the way out into Houston.
Right. Yeah,
and that's
it's
a big thing.
Problem
And that's a big thing because we know, like, obviously with Katy Pride being established more recently, it's just getting people out on to the suburb side. Like, even growing up here all my life, you know, I had the mindset of Katy's so far away.
Yep.
It really isn't. And now there's so much out there aside from us.
Well, and there actually is a very large queer community out in Katy.
There is.
I
They're
have so
hiding,
many
but they're there.
clients that,
They're hiding,
and
but they're
I
there.
have clients who come from all over. I've had clients literally fly in from Washington State. Like,
wow.
I've
Yeah.
had people come from all over.
I've had clients drive out from like Galveston area to come and see me still out in Katy. Like,
That's
it's
so cool.
and even that is just a blessing in itself, because especially with these high gas prices,
It's an honor.
And the like, whenever somebody's like, oh, I drove over like 30 minutes to come and see you, like that, and it's even just coming to see me, let alone, is just a huge honor.
100%.
I love that. Well, I do want to, since you've already mentioned that you just recently started tea and you just like are finding yourself in a new identity than your past ones, let's talk more about that. How do you feel? What made you decide to like start hormones? Where did this all come from?
It's kind of wild. So I feel like it's been a long time coming. I came out in 2019 as, like I said, non-binary, pansexual, like on all my socials, all the things, put the they in the profile, you know, and then a few years ago, knocked off the she part and just was like they, them, and slowly have been finding myself through hair and through self-expression, trying on binders, things like that, you know, experimenting with little gender affirming things, and then slowly was like earlier this year had a conversation with Cam, really deep conversation, where I finally let myself go there as far as like, okay, I've never really felt like I love my name. I remember back in middle school trying to, I think it was 7th grade, trying to change to my middle name, Louise. And no one did it. They were like, you're Katy, like that's your name. And I was just like, no, that's not who I am. But no one no one respected it. So
Even like as just a nickname.
and you hold on to that. Like when you're a kid, you hold on to that. So I was like, no one will ever respect me if I change my name, even though I don't align with it. And so I actually got off my family. Besides my mom is wonderful, but the rest of my family is they're not great, and they're transphobic and homophobic, and I had to cut them off, and for the betterment and safety of me and my family and my partner, I did, and that actually helped me be able to step into who I really am, because I got to step out of that box that I put myself into for them. So I got to really think about like who I would be if I didn't have to worry about all of the expectations on me. And like I had already decided like we don't want kids, things like that. And so it was one more step of like, okay, what about like testosterone? Like what about, you know, a little more masculinization? I had already like grown out my leg hair and felt so like confident in that. I got a tattoo that says like good boy, BOI, and I'm obsessed with it. And when the little leg hairs grew in, I was like, this
Where is it?
Euphoria.
Let's see it.
Hold on. It's like little conversation
I love
hearts.
it.
Yeah, I'm
okay, you guys
obsessed.
can't see it, but it is on their leg,
Yeah.
on their left leg.
Yes.
On, what do you call the front of it?
The shin.
The shin. It is on the
Yeah.
shin, and it
Yeah.
looks amazing.
Thank you. Tattoo by Lulu did that. Obsessed. Literally just like free-handed. I was like, this is
Wow, wait,
sick.
that's impressive.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Obsessed. So all the little gender affirming things just kind of clicked into place, and I have never felt more myself. I think even in a week I've noticed so many little changes. It's crazy. Like people tell you, but you don't believe it till you feel it and see it. Like I'm genuinely so happy. I'm starving all the fucking time.
That's
like
funny.
I am so hungry. There's so many other things like the voice changing. I was singing in the car and noticed I could comfortably hit like some lower notes, and then the higher notes were a little squeaky. I couldn't really hit those anymore. And I was
They were
like,
concerned
honestly,
about like
yeah.
their voice.
Yeah,
Before this.
that was
but
my number one.
You're doing great.
Yeah, but I love all the little things I get to notice. The leg hair seems even a little thicker, even if it's a placebo effect. I'm like, I'm loving
You know, the
this.
changes can happen really quickly.
Yes.
Like for me, my voice dropped within weeks. Of,
Yes,
Like very.
I've
noticeable.
noticed.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even get to like take what is it, like my first day on T or whatever.
Oh, those little
But
videos.
I joked, I was like, oh, this will kind of be like my my thing to go back to and be like, this is what I sounded like. That's crazy. Yeah.
Did you do those videos? I can't remember.
Yeah, I did like a little one because at the like I ended up going like by myself to my appointment, and it was just like a quick little thing in my car. And even now, like I will say I'm like you can ask Koda, I'm horrible with like photos and everything like that. It's like I don't even like look back on those things, but like it is cute to have. So like I am. Because like I know like we had tried to do this a few months ago and it just didn't work out, but it worked out
meant
at
to
the end of
be.
the day for this, like for them to actually like introduce themselves and like do it for a first like formal time. And then obviously to have the record of like hearing what they sound like now and then comparing it to like a year from now or even just like a few months from now.
that'll be so fun. But all the things.
Now, are you doing shots? What are you doing?
So
Gel?
I
What
got
are we
really
doing?
lucky. I was so nervous because I've been going to Legacy, and I have an amazing doctor, Anna Fields, and she at first she had mentioned like, oh well, people normally start on shots. So I went into my appointment fully thinking like I'm gonna have to stab myself.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
psyched out. I was
Yeah.
like, I watched Cam that morning. And even Cam was kind of shaking. I was like, oh no.
I
oh
mean,
no.
in my defense, I still get so like I've been on shots, and then my shot anxiety was getting so bad I went on gel for like a year and a half.
Oh, okay.
Long story short, hormones plummeted. Ended up with a hysterectomy, which is what I wanted anyways. But now I'm back on shots, but my shot anxiety is still bad to where I hate an audience. And then even like when I was talking with Koda as far as like, okay, will I have to like stab you or whatever? Even then my hand gets shaky still, but it's hot as shit here in Texas and the gel just sweats right off. So that was my big problem.
Well, I got lucky because my doctor noticed that I was like nervous and was like, no, I'd rather put you on gel. Anytime
Just right
I can
away.
avoid the needles, like, and I was like, you said something, okay.
Okay, we're gonna
I'm
get
cool
this
with that.
doctor's information afterwards because no offense.
So
I'm
both of our
obsessed.
doctors are really good. I've been with Legacy since I started, and the first doctor I had, absolutely horrible. Do not recommend. And I've had a few other friends in the community that had her as well, and also agree. I don't even think she's in the practice anymore. But even my new doctor, actually, Koda's doctor trained under mine, and so they both work together to where Koda's doctor was out to where my doctor was responding to their messages on like my chart and stuff. So we both just happen to get lucky with two really good doctors that also collaborate together apparently.
Now, is there a Legacy out in Katy?
No,
we drive out to the
Montrose.
Montrose location.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, just safe space.
It's where I've been the entire time. Because again, I was originally living in Stafford back when I first started, and so even then, that drive still wasn't even that bad. But we always just say it gets us out of town every once in a while, and then we just make a little day in Houston. So
Now, curious because it does kind of relate as like self-employed entrepreneurs. Do you have insurance?
yes.
Are you guys using insurance for these?
Yes, so I've been.
Luckily, yes.
Yes,
Thank
so I've
God
been
we're
paying.
married.
I've been paying my own insurance since the beginning of this. Like since I got kicked off my parents at 26.
26, yeah.
And then I started probably 27, 28-ish on shots, something like that. No, 27, I think. So I was already paying my own insurance already, Blue Cross Blue Shield. I will say, yes, it is a lot of money for what I am paying for. And as far as prescriptions go, it's been a pain because the number amount is never consistent. From the first round I was on shots, every time it was something different I was paying. And then when I went on to gel, apparently gel was way more expensive.
Yep, that's what I've heard.
So this is when
The original gel price before insurance is insane.
What is it?
So I will say, let me preface, I was with Kroger at first, up until recently, as well as using GoodRx and insurance. So all that combined. When I was on shots, it'll say like without insurance, whatever the price would be. For shots, it would be a double-digit number, whatever. For the shots, for one, maybe two bottle for gel. I can't remember if it was for one bottle or for two. This one time, it was over $2,000.
Oh my God, that is insane.
Even if it's 2 bottles, $1,000 a bottle is
Yeah.
wild.
Absolutely wild. And so we only recently, and why we only recently, I don't know, because we've had a Costco membership for over a year now. But we recently got our prescriptions over to Costco, and my shots last time were like a single digit, maybe.
Oh, my gel was $9.
Oh, that
was I was
for a
like
30-day supply, or
I assume.
We assume they're only on like 1 pump of gel a day right now. So, and I was on 4.
okay.
So my bottles were only lasting like 2 weeks, if that, and covering over half my body. But
Should be about 30 days.
it should be, but we can give an update later on that. and
Yeah,
see,
part
and
2.
We'll
Yeah.
We'll catch them later on another episode. But wow. So much I learned just that, like right there.
Like, I remember starting tea. It's just the most exciting.
It is. I'm just so happy, like all the time. And I feel like I have so much energy. Oh, that's what I was going to say. My stamina already, like as far as like walking, I walk in the mornings. Every day I didn't notice I was walking further and further. Every
Out of
morning.
nowhere, it was
I
like 4 miles.
What?
Just, yeah.
And I just like wasn't paying attention. I was just like had my headphones
getting on the
in
walking
was,
pad and
like-
just-
And then I'd get home and look at it and be like, oh, I'm getting better. Like easily. Like
Love that.
not hard at all.
And it's
I'm
also
obsessed.
before you have a cup of coffee too, which has normally never happened. No, like, and I mean, I've been
I'm
able
like
to see an
up
immediate
every morning.
difference.
I'm like so happy. Like,
Oh,
I love it.
that's amazing.
Why don't we talk about Cam? Your coming out story kind of touched on early transition, but maybe not so much the coming out part.
For sure. So, I mean, it's like a part 1 and part 2. I feel like most trans people are, because obviously you got to go through the I'm a lesbian first, and then I'm not. So I will say I did grow up heavily in the church, and so because of that, you know, I was raised and thinking I will say I didn't fully fall into the white picket fence line thing, as far as, you know, I'm married with nuclear family and all that type of shit. But, you know, just growing up in church, you have those expectations of what your life is supposed to look like and, you know, how it's supposed to go. And I genuinely remember, I can't remember if it was a thought or talking to my friends at the time, who are also now, half of us are gay.
That's how that happened to me too. Like all my childhood friends, we all ended up being like gay or trans.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
And I remember saying, because again, I was very much with the Lord back in the day. I was known as a little innocent church girl back in
Stop.
school.
Are there pictures?
We both were.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, there's absolutely pictures on Facebook.
Oh my gosh. I don't have a Facebook anymore.
But I remember telling my
love
friends of
deleting
like,
that.
you know, I can understand gay people, but I just can't understand, you know, changing your gender. It's like slapping God in the face. And look at me now.
Oh my
So
God.
I
Actually,
do.
I was too, but I wasn't really big on the church. But I remember I actually have a journal, my first journal in my other room. And
you
it
still
talks
have
about
it?
my dating criteria. And
my
one of them is like no tattoos and piercings and stuff like that. And it talks about like, why would you mutilate your body?
Yes, the things we think.
But
Yeah.
again,
Oh my
I
God.
wasn't like born and raised in the church.
Yeah.
And the
And
churches that I
so-
went to, they were either Spanish or Polish, and I didn't understand a lick of anything.
And like I was pretty heavy as far as like I was there every Sunday and Wednesday growing up. I was heavily involved in like the youth group. We went on a few mission trips. Like we did Las Vegas. Who's sending a group of high schoolers as a mission trip to Las Vegas? Did that. Was in the church choir. Did percussion for them as well too. Just very active. Always volunteering and shit. And then again, getting out of high school, my first job was in Guitar Center. I was heavily musically influenced as a kid. And so I wanted to just continue that movement from high school to, you know, fresh out. This is my first step into adulthood, and it was familiar. And so obviously going into that scene from more of a protected, because I also had a helicopter parents, at least a mom. And so my dad was a little bit more free-spirited when I was younger, but my mom definitely was very much helicopter. And so that mixed with church, I grew up very innocent, very ignorant of a lot of things, and just very sheltered. And so Guitar Center, working there, was my first exposure to the world. I mean, I was playing gigs at Avant Garden when I was like 20, like in 19. I remember going to Pearl Bar back when it was Pearl Lounge when it first opened.
Oh, I didn't know it was under a
Oh yeah, it was Pearl Lounge back in the day. Very grungy looking
Did
too.
they not serve drinks, or they just changed?
No, they did.
They did.
They did. It was more. It was very much more of like an underground, grungy looking dive bar, and not even a dive bar.
same location that it was
yes,
previously?
the original location. Yes.
Okay, but look at them now.
Look at them
Look
now.
at them now.
Yeah. No.
The
Everybody is succeeding.
largest lesbian bar in the country, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
really?
think.
No
Yeah,
way.
Well,
I did
now
not
I
know
think.
that.
Surprised me.
Now
I'm
I
pretty
think.
positive they have like a what is it, pickleball court? Yeah,
I have.
It's-
Okay, it's literally.
I was
right down the
gonna
street.
wait till the Pride season chilled down
Yeah,
before
we
we
need to
would
wait
go
till
over there.
everybody.
Okay, but have
But
you
yeah.
both like gone?
No.
at
Not
all
to
see
the
it?
new-
Okay,
not
me
to the
neither.
No, but
new
we
one.
talked to Julie. We went on a nerd night, of course, because we love Pokemon, and we went and bought Phantasmal Flames from Julie because we were looking for it or whatever.
Wait, who is Julie?
The owner
owner.
of Pearl Bar.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Julie's
Okay.
the owner. She was telling us all about it, and we were like, no way. Oh my God. We were so excited. So she was going off. She was excited.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
I remember like I was into that scene and just obviously growing up in church, now getting into a queer scene like Pearl and my coworkers at the time. Obviously, it's like a night and day difference of how I thought I was, you know, going to be. And so at the time, I was just getting a Guitar Center, but I was still in church a little bit. Obviously not as active because I had to pay bills. Well, they started to not like that I needed to pay bills because they were getting upset with me. Like some of the youth leaders. Mind you, I'm not even in youth group anymore. But again, I was so involved, and now suddenly I'm not, and now it's a problem.
You cut your hair, you changed your clothes.
I cut my hair, yes.
Sorry.
Chopped my hair off, did the tattoos, started getting tattoos, getting piercings, wearing more masculine clothing just because I'm feeling more comfortable with myself. Obviously, that's going to be a problem in the church, especially even though it was a multiracial, a very accepting church. Obviously, they still don't like the gays. And so I remember being pulled out of Sunday school once. Again, I'm in the college class, mind you. Why are the youth leaders for the children getting involved? They pulled me and two of my best friends out, literally intervention style. And we are in the youth pastor's office like I'm in the principal's office. And he's trying to beat around the bush asking if I'm gay. And I don't like confrontation back then. I'm going to, of course, go in my shell. And I'm in the back corner seat, of course. And so my friend, who is very confrontational, she is kind of just ripping him a new one of like saying of all the stuff of all the bad shit that the kids are actually doing in the youth group. And I'm just trying to mind my business, but I'm just gay. So that was my first thing that kind of like definitely pushed me out of church and made me realize of like, okay, the place that I grew up and was protected all my life saying to love your neighbor as yourself and all this stuff. But yet they're not doing that with me, even though I was like blood, sweat, and tears in that church, literally since the age of 5 up until 18, 19. And now it's just like, that whole life of me, it's very much a weird fever dream because yes, I had so many good memories there growing up, and you know, I had so many great friends back then. I still think my best friend to this day is still from there, and we still see each other very regularly. She's a client of both of ours, has her own business and everything, and even she'll say like, dude, like you are who you are now. Back when we were kids, it was that in between time where I was trying to conform and do what the girls do and try to be all that, and obviously it was not me. And so at the time I was, you know, just identifying as a lesbian. I at the time had no idea what trans people were. Like that was not even in my realm back then, because even with Instagram back in the day, you only saw your friends' posts. It wasn't as vast as it is now, obviously. Long story short, met somebody, moved out of state for a while, ended up being a very bad abusive relationship. And I remember even having a fight with that person, and this person at the time knew me as a masculine lesbian, even was trying to change me to appear more feminine. And even at one point, I remember we were like sitting at her parents' house or whatever, and she was like, well, if you want to be a dude, I don't know if I could even be with you. Just outright, because I was begging her to let me cut my hair again. And she forced me to grow it out and all this kind of stuff. So that kind of like, and that was maybe, if I had to put a time on it, maybe 2016-ish. And so I would say those thoughts started to sprinkle in then. And then got out of that relationship, tried to get my life settled back here, moved back home with my parents, and then started getting on Instagram. And that's when I think around that 2017 era was when it kind of started, as far as like the trans masculine community and just trans folks in general. I think that's kind of when it started to kind of pop off a little bit more. People got more familiar with other folks in the community, whether they be within the city, out of state, out of the country, and all that. And I started to, you know, find different people's pages and follow them. That I was like, okay, we're kind of like in the same boat, and just also trying to figure out who the hell I am also. Very much Britney Spears' quarter life crisis, shaved my head and everything, very on brand. And then a few months later, I was like, oh no, like this is actually making sense to me, and came out as non-binary because I was like, I don't feel 100% male, but I also obviously definitely don't feel like a woman at all. And even now, like, I still identify that way. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, dude. I'm like, yeah, I'm dude, man, bro, whatever. Like, but it's still, like, it's more of a mental thing for me. Like, I'm just, like, in the middle, mentally.
Yeah, it's like my brain, for me, like, I feel my brain is not male. Like,
No.
it does not have a gender.
Yeah.
No.
But my body, I like it to be masculine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
I feel that.
Same. And
Yeah.
even for me, I mean, and I'm sure y'all can agree, safety, being in Texas, like, I prefer it to be that way, especially being where we are in the suburbs. Like whenever we go out to the Buc-ee's out there, we still got to be a little careful sometimes. But even though I present the way I do and people automatically clock me as a cishet white man, I mean, the pink hair does help to be like, no, I'm cool, I promise.
Yeah, I think the gauges too.
The gauges, no, like I do try to give a little hint as to be like, no, I am a safe space. I promise I'm not one of them. But that I will say is like the wildest part of like, damn, I really am the op now.
Right.
And I didn't think about that back then. But I would say like I would say a bulk of it. And, I did the thing of I didn't know how to verbalize it to people. And so I first wrote a letter out to my parents, only child problems. I also don't really know always how to talk to them, especially them being an older generation. The boomers, very hard to talk to them, even to this day. And so though I will say they love me, they, adore me, they are boomers at the end of the day. And having conversations with them is very hard. Getting them to understand things is very hard. It has definitely put a mental block on me from them in the last few years, especially with this last election. But I will say they love me at the end of the day. Are their choices great? No. Do they cause me physical harm? No. I've never been abusive parents or anything like that. They raised me well. I always had a roof over my head and stuff. But as I've grown up, that shift has definitely been a challenge, I would say, as far as the whole chosen family thing is very important between, with both of our family issues, because obviously no family is perfect. We are very lucky that Koda's mom is very loving and accepting of us. We are lucky that my parents do, though they do have their own political issues and stuff like that. They do still love us at the end of the day, even though it's still mentally hard to just kind of be there and stuff. So
This month we partnered with GC2B.
Hi everyone, shop the 2B Luxe collection and more at gc2b.co, where you can sign up and use the code TRANSVOICES for 15% off. That is gc2b.co, using the code TRANSVOICES, one word, for 15% off at the checkout. GC2B, affirming apparel for the true you. Over a decade ago, GC2B started with a simple mission: to create a binder centered around the diversities of trans bodies. With that, GC2B optimized the lack of products on the market, growing into a global Black and Latina trans-owned brand rooted in community.
Their latest collection, 2B Luxe, expands on their original binder design with new brush twill technology, adding a smoother, more comfortable internal layer to maximize comfort without sacrificing compression or discretion. Shop the 2B Luxe collection and more at gc2b.co, where you can sign up and use the code TRANSVOICES, or capital T RANS, capital VOICES, one word, for 15% off. That's gc2b.co, using the code TRANSVOICES, again one word with a capital T and V, for 15% at checkout. GC2B, affirming apparel for the true you.
Now, I'm personally curious. You mentioned that you were really invested in the church and stuff.
Yes.
And I know, I personally talked about it in another episode where when I came out as a trans individual, I felt like I lost my lesbian community. Did you feel like you lost your church community? Since, again, you've been there 18, 19. So.
Oh, no, 100%, absolutely. So that was even just when I came out as a lesbian. When I say I was so into the church, I was down bad. I was down bad for the Lord.
You have tattoos.
My literal first tattoo was for the Lord.
Wow.
The whole back tat. The wings? Hello?
Not the wings. The wings were just for
but
funsies.
in between the wings, there is a cross.
It's whatever. But
wait, so you still have it, right?
I still have it, but it's going to be covered up, yeah.
It's on the back.
It's going to be covered up.
Do you feel like you lost?
Yes. Okay, so I will say...
They kicked you out.
Personally, yes. I mean, in a sense, I had so many issues with a few of the church leaders that I looked up to that essentially they pushed me out. Mm-hmm. I mean... My old youth pastor was snooping around looking in my car and noticed I had a pack of cigarettes in there. Mind you, I'm 19.
Stop.
Wait for it. Mind you, I'm 19. Wait for it. The kicker is this man is going to call my dad at his own business that he owns and runs himself.
What?
And he's going to complain to my dad, you know that Caroline has cigarettes in her car. You're talking to a chimney, by the way, who smokes constantly,
Oh my
first
God.
of all.
So then
And
what
my-
happened?
And my dad is like, first of all, why are you snooping in my kid's car?
Yeah.
Second of all, they're 19. Third of all, they're not in the youth group anymore. Fourth, I'm going to come to church tomorrow and confront you. My dad was a CEO, Christmas, Easter only. Never went to church otherwise. We went to church. Youth pastor avoided us like the plague, of course. It got to be like that. And then I played percussion for 14 years outside of school. I was never like in band or anything, but just, playing by ear or whatever and playing in church. I would always like substitute for the percussionist if he happened to not be there. Well, the music director at the time was not the original one I had growing up. The older guy left, new interim music director came in. For some reason had a problem with me. I don't know what I did to piss him off, but would make me just stay very basic to the point, just very basic. And I'm like, it's church, right? We should, kind of be a little lively.
Yeah.
Couldn't apparently have a conversation with me in the church. He had to pull me to his office to say, hey, we're not going to do that. We're actually going to need you to like calm down and like do. And I'm like, don't you want people to have fun? Like, it was just one thing after another, and it really just all tied. It was all, let's be real, it was all tied to me being gay at the time and not being how I was back growing up. Because again, they saw me growing up from the age of 5. And then now I'm suddenly very opposite of how I was. Well, the only thing that was different was you're not in church as much, and now you're not in school, and now you're, because I was literally home, school, church, home, school, and church. That was it. 3 places, that was it. And now obviously getting exposure into the world, they don't like that. And again, it kind of goes back to the whole preaching everything good and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, it's very selective. Even the one time I attempted to go to church before I moved out of state, ironically enough, the pastor was talking about gay marriage and how it's wrong and all this stuff. Awkwardly enough, there's 3 rows of pews. I was in the middle one, dead center.
Oh, wow.
And awkwardly stood up and left. And my dad tried to like, because he even went, because it was my last Sunday going to be there before I moved, so he even went this time. And they followed me out, and I was like, I can't even do this. I'm breaking down in tears. I was like, I literally just tried to come here because it's the last time I'll be here from now. I'm moving across the country, and then this is all happening. And I'm like, this is why I stopped going to church. And I can't even recall the last time I stepped in a church, maybe minus like one of my cousin's baptisms or something. But it's even just going from like having that close-knit community, like such a deep-rooted kind of family bond, to literally nothing overnight, minus my best friend, who is still my best friend to this day. And even my friends from school, like after I graduated high school, I was that person where I just deleted everybody off of Facebook. I was like, I didn't like y'all to begin with. Y'all weren't my friends. Like, why do I care about looking? Like, I just don't care. My friends from high school are still my friends to this day. Thankfully, I have a really good close group of friends that we all had advisory class together, just based off of our last names in alphabetical order. And we're basically a second family with each other. Like, we all still go to Noche Buena with our friends, Filipino family, every Christmas. We go to each other's birthday lunches, dinners. We're there to, randomly FaceTime each other if we need like stress vent or anything like that. We have a play date with one of ours that just got a pit bull puppy a few weeks ago, so we're gonna have a play date in a few weeks. So I'm very thankful that like those friends, though it was an adjustment, I'm sure for them, they haven't.
They've been amazing.
Like, even with like Koda coming out, and it's just like they don't even pay it attention.
They're just like,
so
this
used
is
to it.
you. Yeah, this is you. We accept you
Exactly.
as you.
I mean, even when I was more butch lesbian, more or less, I obviously was the token in the group, and even now I still kind of am. And so, because they're all heavily straight. Heavily straight.
Oh, that's great though that they're so supportive, especially when the church wasn't there for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just totally disappeared. Your friends stayed with you.
Yeah.
And you're still.
And it's very just interesting as far as, again, growing up in the South, growing up in church, and being preached and understood as far as like, love your neighbor as thyself. I'm like, but do you really?
You're not loving all your neighbors.
You're not loving us. But it really is just kind of, even with what I take into my practice with work of building community, and I've had some clients that have turned into friends, and then obviously some friends in the community who have turned into chosen family. And it's just a reiteration of creating that safe space. And though I can't recreate that safe space I felt as a kid in that church I had growing up, because obviously they did to me what they did to me, I can at least try to recreate the feeling I felt as a kid.
Yeah.
In just that moment of like, I feel safe in this space. I have my friends. I feel welcomed. I don't feel like an outsider. I want to bring that kind of work. I think we both do in our rooms.
Yeah, you belong. You always belong in our spaces.
Yeah,
everyone
because
does.
we both, in different scenarios, have been pushed out of spaces that we thought we were welcomed in, and for years. And so just to be able to create that, and to where people can just take a breath of relief when they come into our rooms.
And I feel like at least, sorry to steal it, I feel like I get to see people sometimes on their very best day, their wedding day, and then sometimes on the worst day of their lives. They've just lost a son or a daughter or a friend or whoever, and they're going to a funeral. But I
you
feel
get more
like
of like the serious like occasion.
I get people on every different occasion of their life, and it's such an honor to be able to create a safe space. And I've had people come in and sit down and look at me and just break down because of what they're going through, and they have had no one else they can talk to about it. And just being able to create that safe space and let them let it out and be themselves and be authentic and not just mask who they are. But also I have a neurospicy friendly like space, so I feel like that helps too. People come in and I get to close the door and we're in our own little world. I have a TV and snacks and drinks and all the things. And
I remember when, I remember
like the
because
rainbow
again,
wall, I've
you
extended.
were working,
Yeah.
you were working on like making things, exactly,
it's
extend
like
out
my
and stuff.
Space.
So I haven't seen it since,
Oh,
but
I have like vinyls all over the wall that I've painted. Oh, it's sick. I can't. You'll have to come back.
I do.
Yeah. Yes,
I love that.
You
We
guys
do a
can
little
see it.
shop
At least
tour.
like pop in. And I do want to say it's Hue Hair Lounge, which is separate because I think there's a Hue somewhere in Montrose.
Different
We're not
affiliation.
that. My
Not-
boss is
not
absolutely
affiliated.
amazing, and I do want to shout out that Hue Hair Lounge is a queer safe space for everybody. Everyone in there is, I try to train them on inclusivity. I just spoke with my boss about having a little refresher class because I think it's really important just for everyone to create that safe space, even if people can't get in with me. Like, I know I'm booked out.
And it's really cool. Even like everybody at the salon knows me. Like
Yeah.
I've kind of like dubbed myself as like the salon husband, like the shop husband.
Oh my God.
Like I'm always in there. Like I'll just bust in and be like, "Hey y'all," and they'll be like, "Oh hey Cam." Like it's just Cam.
Cam's always
I'm always in there,
and
and
so
it's-
it's just a great safe space for everybody. And you can tell, like, when you walk in, it's such an alternative spot with
especially for
colors
Katy.
everywhere.
Especially for Katy.
Yeah,
I would say
I
that,
mean,
yeah.
it's like I walked in and I was like, "This is home." I had a very specific idea. I actually waited a little while once I moved here to find a salon because I knew I was going to be picky about it, and it happened to be the first one I walked into.
oh wow.
And I walked in and I came in for my interview and they were like, "Oh my goodness, we love you. We need you. We've seen what you can do." Because I've done all kinds of alternative cuts at that point, all kinds of rainbow color. Had been featured on Pulp Riot. I'm actually a Pulp Riot partner, which is cute. I've also been featured on like Milbon, different like hair brands. And so, yeah,
That is really cool.
it's
I didn't know that.
pretty awesome.
You're kind of a professional.
I'm kind of a professional of like 12 plus years, but
It's just creating like our little safe spaces, and even Koda Salon, like they've always been a safe space. Like the owner and the manager are really dope
That's
and
what I
have
was talking
always
about, yes.
made it that kind of space. But since Koda's been there, and since more recently they've come out and everything, I mean, their boss has even hired me to do scalp massage classes for the stylist to learn how to do scalp massages like in the wash
in
bowls.
depth.
Yeah, in depth. And
really like learn how to do things.
and it's definitely just become more, and again with us getting more involved with Katy Pride, I do my best to try to go to like those monthly coffee meetups, which are my favorite type of happy hour. Early in the morning with coffee.
I went to one.
You went to one. You did good. good. You went to one.
It's hard when you're, I think because I give my all at work and I really truly put everything into it. I come home and I'm kind of like, okay,
Drained.
Socially burn out.
We
I
get
need
that.
like my recharge time so I can come back and help you the next day, you know?
But
so.
it's been a whirlwind because we've lived in the area now for 5 years. But I feel like Koda, especially in the last like 2 years and even 3 years, they've been getting more people in the community. And then I've only been working on that side for the last year now. Otherwise, I've been working out in the Heights. And so obviously working in the Heights and working on queer people, it's very easy. People were able to come and see me at my last location. It was just pretty convenient. But again, it's just trying to get people to drive out into Katy and let them realize, one, it's not a bad drive. You can go a lot further distance in the same amount of time versus like 5 blocks here. But just to have our safe spaces and for us to be so close to each other, we're like 5 minutes driving from one salon to the next, to where, especially like with our joint clients, they'll come and see me first for a massage for like a little self-care day, and then they'll finish off with Koda and go get their hair done. Like, and just for us to be that kind of space for folks has
that
just
little
been
like self-care power couple.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. It's cute.
and just having also like, Koda's 2 awards, my 3 awards with Outsmart, it's been just to even get our names out that way has been very, just have our peers recognize us that way was
To be voted for is
Like,
and
is
nominated
wild.
period
Just nominated,
was like an
period.
honor. I was never expecting that, and it happened, and
Same.
I was like, oh, you like me. Okay. Okay, thanks, Houston.
That was going to be my next question, was about those awards and what that was like for both of you. Are you're both 2-time winners, is it?
I'm
Or you're
2-time. Cam 3.
Oh, 3-time.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it happened so quickly after I got my license that it just, at the time, it just didn't feel real because my career in general has felt like a whirlwind. Even the teaching side of it felt like a whirlwind because I got under my mentor's wing right after I had finished my internship and got my license. And she was like, hey, I need a TA. Our old one left, and I just ended up working part-time as a massage therapist, part-time as a TA at the school I went to. And so that's what I was doing. I was mainly working at the school all day on Mondays and Wednesdays. I loved working with the students, and it kind of just it was where I was able to use my 10 years of retail management and training just on a school floor in a sense. But I will say it was definitely a learning curve because it's different from managing people to teaching people. Very different approach. And once I kind of got over that hurdle and learned that mental swap I had to do myself, I fell in love with teaching, and more on the practical side than like the book side. I realized very ADHD, very dyslexic very quickly. But when it came to like the hands-on work and actually physically teaching people how to massage others, that was like my bread and butter. I would always say my textbook side was more manual versus my practical side was just autopilot. And so that was just such an unplanned love of mine out of my career. I didn't expect that. I just thought I was going to get licensed. I'm going to go work at a chain shop and just, work will be at work, home will be at home.
I never saw you doing that.
I
What
didn't,
are you talking
at the end of the day, I didn't want to. I knew my goal for myself. I was 27, 28 at the time. My goal for myself was by the time I was 30, I wanted to make a career of myself and start something. And I made it happen by the time I was 29, thankfully. But because I was TAing part-time as well too, I was able to build my career up and build my clientele up, putting in long hours and between like 12-hour days teaching and working on people and tutoring and all this kind of stuff. And it got to a point where I had an opportunity come about of a studio space. Ironically enough, Koda's shop owner's business bestie was opening up her own spot and was like, hey, I have an extra room if you want to rent. And I'm like, that would be great for my gas tank actually. And that was before I even got invested with Katy Pride. So I really just went out on a whim, and I'm like, you know what, now's a perfect time to get involved in the community because I spent so much time coming out into town. I had no time and no energy. Like Koda was saying, our jobs are very energetically draining, especially in my career. There's a lot of somatic energy transference and all that kind of stuff. Definitely the woo-woo side of the massage therapy scene, but it is definitely real. And so now the fact that we're both living and working on the same side of town within 5 minutes of where we live, we now have more time to put back into our community, into where we've been able to get involved with Katy Pride and get to know all the board members and community members. And it's been helpful to not only both our businesses, but also just us as people, and just helping us grow and build community and friendships. And
I feel like you teaching also helped you build a community in general to help you be recognized for those awards, though. Like, to make a name for yourself.
I mean, and I would introduce myself and out myself every single time.
I read that in an interview. It's that you said that the first day you tell your students.
Every single time. And also, it would just be funny to see the eyes bug out and the mouths drop, especially by some of the older guys, because they'd be like, wait, for real? And I'd be like, get all the questions, get it out right now. Like, I'm fine with it.
Because you're so passing sometimes, you know?
I pass for...
It's similar, like, for me, like, no one ever, like...
Suspects.
Yeah.
I love pulling that, though. Like, I love seeing their faces. It's my little haha moment.
No, yeah, it's amusing, like, it's interesting.
But, like, in those moments, because of me expressing myself and outing myself, I mean, I did the same thing when I first started school. Like, our school ran on a 3-term situation, and at the beginning of each term, I would introduce myself as, like, I'm trans. Like, we're usually ignored in massage therapy as far as, do you want a male massage therapist or a female massage therapist? That's all.
That's the only options.
And no, that's literally it. And so within that, I also got to know some instructors that were, if not queer, but like very strong allies. And we got to collaborate as well too. And I actually became not only the TA for my mentor who taught Swedish, and where I ended up teaching in that department. I got to be the TA for our prenatal instructor, who utilized me as an example all the time as somebody who may not look like a typical pregnant woman. And so that was usually the time actually that I would really out myself to the students, was during the prenatal course. Even though I don't specialize in prenatal myself, it's a modality I'm not totally interested in right now, but being, you know, somebody different, obviously, than the conventional pregnant person, was definitely throwing the students for a loop of, like,
educational.
It is educational, and it's just like actually eye-opening of, like, hey, I am example A through Z right now. Like, you can actually ask me things here. And especially when I was going through my hysterectomy process, I had a full radical. I kept my students involved. Like, I let them ask me questions. They knew why I was on leave, like, because I was out of work for 6 weeks. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be here because I'm not going to hide why I'm out for a while. And even, like, getting back in, like, it was a 2-story building, and I had to climb up some stairs, and they, 2 of the stronger guys, literally carried me down the stairs one day, because they're like, they could, even though I needed to practice, they could see me struggling by the end of the day, and they're like, nah, boss, we're just gonna, like, help you downstairs and carry you to your car, like, it's fine. And then I had enough people ask me just on the side of, like, just general questions of, like, yo, if I get, like, a trans person, like, how do I, like, say this? How do I ask them this? I don't want to say the wrong thing. And I had enough of them do that to where I was like, you know what, let me just create a class on this. And I was able to create my inclusive care for trans clients course. And I was able to teach it at the school I worked out twice, which was really cool. And then I actually had a massage therapy instructor out from Virginia reach out to me on Instagram, and I did a Zoom call class, like a little 3-hour situation with about 14 individuals out from that way. So that was also really cool too. And I'm always promoting that, though I haven't taught that course in a while. Obviously, it is still an option, not just with massage therapists, but like any type of practitioner. Like, I can tailor that to whatever type of business. It's just, again, the verbiage change as far as career or what you're doing. But to even be offered that along with Koda at their salon, like, just to be an education source for folks as well too. And I will also say, just because I'm an education source does not mean I know everything. I will happily refer you to somebody else if I don't have an answer, or I will find out an answer, which is also why we both have community boards in our offices, just because
that's cool too,
because we can't offer everything. A big thing is, like, people think massage therapists can also do chiropractic work. Can. It's a totally different license. That is a doctor, and I will send you to my personal chiropractor if you need that.
I love her.
She's absolutely wonderful, and also I've sent a few of my trans clients to her, and they absolutely love her. So that is a safe space.
She's so respectful. She's always, like, since Cam told her about, like, the name change and the pronouns, she's always on it. Like, I've never felt like I couldn't be myself. So.
And that's the thing. We only send our clients to referrals that we go to ourselves. And that's another thing of like, I've done it a few times on my Instagram page where I'm like, hey, if you offer a service, if you offer a good or whatever, like, and if you want to be on my referral list for my clients, send me your information. The first time I did that, I had probably 40 plus people reach out to me. And I was not expecting much. I was expecting maybe like five people. I had so many people from the woodworks come out for so many different things too. Yeah. And it's just, if I can just be kind of like that hub in a sense of like, whether you come to me for body work or not, like if you need something else, like I will help you get there, just because that's also what I wish I had growing up. And like growing up in my transition and like the early stages and even just the early days of me just coming out in general as queer, and I had some really good people to look up to, including my first boss at Guitar Center, who's still a very close friend of mine, like pretty much a big sister. I want to be that for people. Just like how my massage mentor mentored me, I wanted to be that for folks, which is why I got into the teaching position.
You want to be that resource for people, and resources and community are so important.
Incredibly.
Yeah.
That's so inspiring and amazing that you are both so passionate about educating and being a resource and a safe space for people. And also putting yourself out there, you know, and being willing to answer, like inviting people's questions.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's
I'm an open book. I'll tell you anything. Like,
well, and especially with trans people, I feel like, because I know I had the issue, I was not in tune with my body. And so, especially with like binding and taping my chest and everything, I was just not comfortable with myself. And again, kind of going back, massage therapy isn't really tailored to trans folks. That's why I do everything in my power to do that. But also, it's not really doing any much different than just a regular session. Again, it's just reiterating that, you know, this is a safe space. Let me know if you're comfortable, if I can do anything to switch it up. But again, that is also the difference just in general of working with somebody like myself who is private versus going to one of the chain shops, just because it is very much money, corporate chain. They are on a time limit. They barely have time to talk to you to figure out what's really wrong. Actually, my colleague that I had that we trade massages with, he works at a chain shop and had like 7 people this last Sunday on Father's Day. The most I work on a busy day for me is like 4 people. And because I actually give myself time to recover in between each client versus most folks at the chain shops, they don't have the time. Like those LMTs, they really work them through the ringer. It's like maybe a 5-10 minute turnaround, and that's not enough time to really take care of yourself. Versus me, like say I work an hour and a half session, that's 90 minutes. I'm taking half of that in a break for myself, just so that way I can recover and then give my full energy back to my next client. And again, working privately, I'm able to have that type of control in my sessions. I have some clients that are just like, I don't know what I want. I don't know anything about massage therapy. I just know I'm hurting. And then I'll even go a step further and be like, okay, is this a muscular thing or is it a neurological thing? Is the mind and muscle connection so off that we have to first establish that before I even get into the muscular work? And again, that's kind of like on the woo-woo side of massage, but that's where I can take the sessions. It's literally wherever the client is needing. I'll just meet them wherever they're at in that moment.
I love that you can customize for them.
And especially
and be that
with
safe space.
And especially just, I mean, me being a trans person myself, it automatically gets the worry out the way.
Right.
My clients don't feel judged. They don't feel like I'm going to question them. They don't feel, again, unfortunately, in my line of work, there is the bad side of it and the unlawful side of it. Just so everybody is clear, in the state of Texas, you legally have to have the quote-unquote breasts of all female clients covered at all times, the genitalia and the gluteal cleavage, the butt crack. So those are the legal things in the state of Texas that have to legally be covered at all times during a massage session. Fun fact.
So if you've ever experienced otherwise,
it is not legal, which I have.
Exactly, right?
Which I actually have before. I've been to a shop where it was pre-transition. I was normally a face-down client, neck, back, shoulder, don't even touch my legs because, again, my back hurts. Well, went to a shop with my friends, and I'm in a room by myself. Clearly, there's a language barrier between me and the massage therapist. Well, she somehow gets me to flip over. I'm not thinking anything of it. She undresses me at the top and just starts going to town. Again, I am pre-transition. and I'm maybe 19, maybe 20 at the time. And so I definitely went deer in the headlight kind of moment of like, oh, this is fun. And you best believe I stopped getting massages after that because I didn't know at the time what had happened. I didn't even tell my friend this up until maybe 2 years ago. And this happened well over 12 because it was also for like a birthday thing that we were going for. So I wasn't trying to like ruin the mood. So not only do I have that as a background, like as far as like me being trans, I also have that experience in massage therapy as far as like, oh, this is the bad side of it and why people either don't get worked on or they get worked on for the wrong reasons. And I will also say this is not me putting down sex work at all by any means.
No, never.
However, we are pro for that.
Yes.
However, as a licensed massage therapist in the state of Texas, I can only speak for the state of Texas, that is obviously a no-no.
Yeah.
If you are licensed, if you're not licensed, but you do you, boo-boo. There's spots on Harwin for that.
Yeah.
However, legally, per my license, it is what it is. That I'm not trying to risk my licensing, not trying to risk me getting blacklisted because that will expel me from ever getting my license even out of state somewhere. And because again, I do have that negative experience myself. I've met clients that have had that unfortunate. There is one of the chop shops actually in the complex I'm at, in the area I've heard of, yeah. And so it's just around the corner, and I'm like, okay, good to know, because it's unfortunate that places like that exist, and you know, people go in there, clients go in there with the right intentions, like a few of my clients have, and then that tragic thing happens. Same thing with me, and I'm just like, that's never going to happen in my space because I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to have your space invaded and just freezing in that moment and just waiting for it to stop and then not saying anything for years, to where I do take that very seriously. That's never even needs to be a question when people walk into my space, just because obviously that is a very sensitive subject. However, working with clients who have had that experience, I do take that in consideration, knowing that the body's going to react. The body's going to be closed off and shut down and reactive probably, and which is where the massage goes from I'm working out your muscles to, hey, let's just build a mind and muscle connection. And we're going to reintroduce touch for the first time. And I've had clients where it is just a very basic, simple, fully dressed 15-minute session at first. And we do that for a few sessions. And then we slowly increase to maybe 30 minutes. Do that for a little bit, introduce a few more techniques. Maybe we then get to an hour and we maybe we keep a binder on but take the shirt off. It's just baby steps. And I, again, just meet my clients with however comfortable or uncomfortable they're at. So, and which is also why I do offer the free consultations, just to get any and all questions, assumptions, stigmas out of the way. Because I mean, even talking with other colleagues, I definitely don't work like your conventional massage therapist. So.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool that you are so unique and trying to change the industry, make the industry more trans queer friendly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and especially just also with living in Texas, especially in this time. So.
Yeah.
So on that note, where could people find you both? Where can they book sessions for both of you?
Yeah, for both of us, we mainly work off of our Instagram pages. Mine is Cams, CAMS _hands, HANDS _LMT. And then in the link in my bio will be my link tree. You can get my booking site, a few articles I've been in, and then a few other links there.
Okay.
So my Instagram handle would be KLR_hair_artist. And I have a link there where you can book with me. I do require consultations first, especially because I do things like vivid rainbow colors and queer
Gotta know the
transformation
hair
cuts,
health history and everything.
gender affirming cuts, everything. I do it all. There's nothing off limits. I work with all textures and types of hair. any type of curl. I love to work with curls, alternative cuts, all the things.
Yeah.
But you can book me there for sure.
Yeah, we both offer free consultations, and even with me, though I specialize in therapeutic work, I can do relaxing. I can do, again, more nervous system stimulating techniques. It can just be, hey, I'm a little sore today, let's work something out, or I just need some quiet time to myself. Again, my sessions are just whatever you want them to be.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Is there anything else that you would like our listeners to know about?
Honestly, I would say if you are needing your hair done for holiday season, book Koda now because it is never available when you want it to be available.
Oh, wow.
We both are available Thursdays through Mondays out in the Katy Mills area. Again, if you are wanting to be a joint client of ours, definitely get a massage first and then go get your hair done.
Yeah, no, that honestly sounds like a beautiful pampering day.
Yes.
Absolutely.
A self-care day. Exactly.
And there's so
Clear
many
self-care.
options for like food in that area. Katy Asian Town is right there. The mall is right there. Like there's so many things to do in that area. Again, growing up in this area, we always thought Katy wasn't anything. I do want to encourage a lot of the Houston-based folks in the community, come check us out. Make the drive out to Katy. It really isn't that bad, depending on obviously the day and time that you go. Make a little afternoon out of it.
But honestly, after all this, I think I need to make a drive.
Katy is definitely worth the drive if y'all make the trip out there. But even if it's not to come and see us, come and get involved with like Katy Pride and the community out there.
Yeah, we love the community, and we love our clients who constantly come out and support us and vote for us for Outsmart magazine over and over again.
I just remembered I am a drop-off hub for clothing. You can actually get $5 off sessions with me for every garbage bag filled of new, gently used clothes. I will then take it to the FCC, Katy, the gay church out there. Their transparent closet. Yep, you can choose either between the transparent closet to make that donation, or my buddy with the Queer Exchange clothing company out here. One of two places you can choose which one to donate, but for every garbage bag full of clothes, you'll get $5 off sessions with me.
Yeah, we had a whole suitcase that ended up getting donated.
That is amazing.
I love it.
That is truly amazing.
Yeah.
Again, thank you both for coming on our podcast
Thank you
tonight.
for having us.
And
We'll gladly do this again whenever.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
No,
I'm
we
down.
need updates.
Yeah,
we need
we'll
updates
gladly
on
do
your
this whenever.
transition.
And the voice drop, we've got to get that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh, okay. One last thing about the name, real quick.
No, go for it.
Of course, can you tell we're ADHD?
My name, that whole experience was so like insane because when I finally I had like a whole list of names to try out, right? And Kim was like, you need to go to a coffee shop and like try it out or whatever. The only one that stuck was Koda and Koda Lou, because I wanted to keep Louise for my grandmother's name. But Koda, it was so cute. I didn't even remember Brother Bear. Koda Bear. Stop. And my dad has passed away. He passed away in 2020, right before I moved here. His literal like nickname, even on his obituary, was Grizz, like grizzly bear. He had a grizzly bear tattooed on his arm. And so after the fact, we watched Brother Bear, and I was like, that is the absolute most perfect name I could possibly have come up with. And it feels so right. And like, I cried. It just stuck. it just stuck. So I was like, Koda is it. Like, there's nothing else that could top that for me. So
That is amazing.
I just had to put that in.
No, of course, and we love it. This platform is to share everyone's voice.
Yes.
Our bit at the end. Again, thank you all for listening on today's podcast. Again, thank you, Cam and Koda, for joining us. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, reshare. Literally, we are trying to get this out there. So again, without our community, without you guys, we wouldn't be here. So again, thank you so much. And until next time.